What's up, and welcome to the No Bullshit Manifestation Show. I'm your host, Kat Kozad, manifestation expert, money mindset and fulfillment coach, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur. Come sit with me while I spill the real tea on what it's like to practice using intentional manifestation, demystify all of the woo-woo and confusing bullshit that comes along with creating the life of your dreams, and give you a realistic view of what it's like to be on a personal, spiritual, and professional growth journey. The goal of this podcast is to support and guide you towards manifesting all of your dreams, shed light on the things that people are too scared to talk about, and encourage you to become the person who gets to have it all, be it all, and do it all. I am so happy you are here. Let's fucking do this thing. What's up, loves? Oh my God. Welcome back to the No Bullshit Manifestation Show. We are on episode 50, which feels so crazy to me because it feels as though I've been doing the podcast forever. But it also feels like it literally just started. And honestly, in the grand scheme of things, it kind of just did, because it's only been 8 months since I started the No Bullshit Manifestation Show. It was the week after I moved to New York City. And it has been such a freaking powerful and crazy and oh man, I don't even know the right words for it. Just like so much has changed in the past 8 months and in the time that I had started the podcast. And something that I've had a lot of requests for recently is talking about what I've manifested and what has happened for me since moving to New York City. And I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to do so because I literally started the podcast a week into being here. And just all of the ways that I have grown in ways that I didn't know I could grow, the things that I've manifested that I've never had before in my life, and show you guys honestly what is possible when you commit to using intentional manifestation in your life. And what can happen in such a short amount of time, because 8 months is like a really fucking short time in the grand scheme of life, once again, when you choose to commit to yourself in this kind of way. So that is what we're going to be doing on today's podcast episode. But before we get started, for the 50th episode, I wanted to say, if you have been listening to the podcast, I would absolutely love it if you left me a review on Apple Podcasts. 50 episodes in, if you have been here with me, I would be beyond grateful if you could take just a few moments out of your day. It literally takes like 30 seconds, 30 to 60 seconds, depending on if you write something, to leave me a review on Apple Podcasts, because the more reviews that this podcast gets, the more that I can share this message and help other people truly understand that they have the power to manifest whatever it is that they desire in their lives and create a bigger impact on the world. So if you would please take just a few moments out of your day to leave me a review on Apple Podcasts right now, if you haven't already, then I would be beyond grateful. And with all of that being said, let's get into this and what has happened in my life and what I've manifested since moving to New York City. So when I first moved to the city, I had been living in my hometown over the summer. I went and moved home for the summer to really just like slow down and rest and gather myself before moving here, because I wasn't 100% sure that I was going to make the move, but it definitely had been at the back of my mind for quite some time and truly just needed to do some more inner work before pulling the trigger and making it happen. But when I first showed up to the city, it's so funny and so fun to help me like look back on that version of myself. But I was so overwhelmed because New York is a lot. If you've been here, you know it's a lot. If you haven't been here, it's a lot. And I mean that in the most incredible way. But I didn't know that I could experience sadness and homesickness and overwhelm simultaneously with like joy and gratitude and excitement and bliss and all of these like high vibe excited emotions, because this has been a dream for me since I was 14 years old. And the first few weeks of being in the city, it just felt like my body was vibrating, like literally like electricity was running through my body. I actually was hanging out with some of my girlfriends over the weekend, and they were asking me what it initially felt like when I got to the city. And like, this is what it felt like. It felt like electricity was vibrating through my body, and I had never felt something like that before. And in this energy, all I knew and what I came to New York for was like for excitement, for new opportunities, to put myself out there in ways that I never had before. And that's exactly what I've done since getting here. I have grown in ways, like I said, I didn't know I could grow. This city has made me the most confident and happy and fulfilled and excited version of myself that I have ever been. And some of the things that I've experienced along the way. So I've had insane and ridiculously fun experiences here in the city. One of the most notable ones is I had been manifesting friends, and I had set the intention that I really wanted like a girl crew here in the city. And one day I decided to take the train to the West Village. It was super rainy. It was in the fall. And I brought my journal. I was journaling in the morning. I was like sitting in different gardens and feeling into the gratitude that I had for the city, and went to different bookstores, picked up a few books, and decided that I just wanted to like sit down at one of the restaurants in the West Village and read my book. And as I was sitting there, this table of girls sat down next to me, and a plant or something blew over, and one of the girls ran up from that table and stood the plant back up. And I said to her, I was like, oh my gosh, that's one of the most wholesome things I've seen since moving to New York. And she started laughing and asked if I was sitting by myself, and I said yes, and they invited me to go over and sit with them. And I told them that I had been manifesting friends and literally just had like the most fun time sitting and chatting and laughing with them. And what I thought was just going to be hanging out with them at this one restaurant turned into the most insane night of adventure. We started bopping around all of these different bars down in Soho, down in the Lower East Side, ended up over in Chelsea at this like super fun Mexican restaurant. And before I knew it, we were on a rooftop at somebody's apartment, like penthouse rooftop apartment, right next to the Empire State Building. And we went up on the roof and we're just like singing and dancing around and like standing underneath the Empire State Building. And I was just in absolute awe. It was like something that I felt as though only existed in movies was my life and what I was experiencing. And it, to this day, has been one of the most like fun and funny experiences that I've had in the city, because I think 14-year-old Kat would have just absolutely lost it in that moment and been so happy about the fact that I made that my reality. Another really fun experience that I had when I first moved to the city is I ended up going out on a date with this guy, and I had been manifesting like fun new experiences in the city, and he invited me to his buddy's birthday party, and I didn't know any of his friends, had just met him, and he was like, yep, it's going to be at this place called Hotel Chantel in the Lower East Side. and it's going to be fun. And I was like, okay, that sounds great. Me being from Colorado, I put on some blue jeans and a tank top, and I start to head down there, and suddenly I'm on the train and I'm like, okay, I like don't actually know like if this place is bougie, if I should be wearing clubbing attire or anything. So I hop off the train and I call him and I said, this may be a super stupid question, but like, is blue jeans and a tank top enough? He was like, I don't want to be an absolute dick. If it was just us hanging out and going to dinner, absolutely. I'm sure you look so cute. But this is a club that like literally won't let you in if you're not dressed up in formal clubbing attire. So my Colorado ass hikes myself back up to my place and searches through all of my clothing. Like, didn't have any clubbing attire when I first moved to the city. And end up getting all dressed up and heading back down there and meet this guy at this birthday party. And yes, literally was in line for a club like you see in the movies where they like let you in or don't let you in based off of what you're wearing. And when I get let in, I meet up with the guy that I am going on this date with. And he shares with me that for his buddy's birthday, they had gotten 2 different tables with bottle service and rented out this entire section of the club for this birthday party. And I was mind blown because I had never experienced anything like that before. It was such a bougie, fun experience. It was like just so much dancing and free drinks, free food. DJ was there, just like so much freaking fun. And these kinds of experiences started to open my eyes up to like what's possible and what I can shift and change like my perspective of reality into, because coming from Colorado, I had definitely like had some fun, not very bougie experiences before, like definitely had to create my own bouge. And moving to this city just gave me a completely different perspective of like what wealth looks like and what luxury looks like and what it means to step into this energy of abundance that I've been manifesting and am so much more easily and effortlessly manifesting now that I'm here in the city. And I was talking about this with my girlfriends over the weekend as well, is like New York feels like a vortex for me. It feels like this abundance vortex where luxury and fun and travel and all of these different things that I desire for myself, this level of wealth is so freaking possible. Whereas in the past, it was something that I put on this pedestal and felt as though it was this far off distant thing that I maybe could get to, but didn't really understand how to. Whereas now it's like it just feels so natural and it feels so effortless. And it's been so powerful to see that just by changing my environment, all of my perception of what is possible and my belief in myself, in the world, and what I'm capable of has completely shifted and changed. And through that, more things that I've manifested so much free food, so many free drinks, tons of luxury experiences, going to gorgeous spas, having amazing dinners, seeing the most beautiful places I've ever seen. I've manifested unexpected thousands of dollars, more and more impact in my business, my first 5-figure days in business, having a 5-figure income in one day, meeting the most soul-aligned friends I've ever had. I've traveled more than I've ever traveled my entire life. I've literally traveled multiple times a month since moving to the city. And honestly, beyond everything, I've just grown so much. And I know I've said that. But I was talking to my coach the other day and I was telling him about who showed up in New York is not who I am today. And I've been able to create everything that I want and get through literally everything that life has thrown my way since coming here. Because the other side of this, the not so pretty that has happened since moving to the city, because polarity always exists. And on the No Bullshit Manifestation Show, I'm always going to talk about this side of it as well, is that since moving to the city and expanding and growing and becoming this version of myself that I am now, this like most confident, happy, healthy, wealthy version of myself, I've also experienced the most intense resistance and pressure and periods of inner work that I've ever experienced in my journey. I quite literally have felt like the level of discomfort that I felt during my spiritual awakening, and maybe even more than that since moving to the city, because I have put myself out there in a way that I am choosing to dream bigger. I'm choosing to have even greater and more abundant and unrealistic dreams than I've ever had in my life before. And in order for us to get to the place where we're manifesting those things that are truly like quote unquote the dream life, and the things that you feel as though could never actually be yours, but choosing to pursue them anyways, you're going to experience a lot of tension. You're going to experience a lot of pressure, because you're essentially allowing past versions of yourself to die off, and you're being reborn into a completely different version of self, into this greater version of self, into this new life that is going to allow you to have all of the things that you want, and really allowing yourself to release good so that you can have great, and release great so that you can have incredible, and release incredible so that you can have mind-blowing, and release mind-blowing so that you can have bliss. And it's like, that's the process that happens when you continue to up-level in your life, and when you continue to transcend to the places that maybe at one point you never thought were possible for you. And for me, in my personal experience, it's like New York has given me the opportunity for all of that. And New York continues to give me the opportunity for all of that. And my willingness to meet the tension and meet the pressure has allowed me to continue to up-level, but it's also been super fucking uncomfortable, and it's also been super fucking hard. And I always want to create that level of honesty and transparency around this, because it's like, I would be a bold-faced liar if like I showed up on my podcast and said like me manifesting this beautiful, abundant, amazing, wealthy, healthy life that I have here in New York City was easy, and I didn't have to change, and I didn't have to grow in order to make it happen. Like, that is not the truth. That is not the reality. I've had to do more inner work than I've ever done in my entire life. I haven't had to do. I've got to do more inner work than I've ever done in my entire life. I have changed in ways that I never thought that I would change. And an example of this, and this is something that I'll be talking about more on the podcast, is like, I've given up drinking. And that is something that I didn't think I would ever do. I felt like alcohol was infused in every single part of my life. It was infused in like part of my personality. I was always the fun party girl and always the one who was like up for a quote unquote good time. And to step into this version of myself who doesn't drink anymore and doesn't feel the desire to drink, doesn't want to drink anymore, was a really challenging and emotional and honestly scary part of my inner work journey that I've experienced since moving to the city. But it's also, coming out on the other side of it, given me even more abundance and even more clarity on my path and on what I'm creating for myself than anything ever has in the past. And that is just a fraction of the challenging pieces and the old identities and the layers that I have shed since moving to this city and who I've become, and through that becoming what I've manifested because of it. So that is honestly what I have for y'all on this podcast episode. I feel like just last thing is that I've learned to trust myself and my decisions in ways that I didn't even know was available to me. And it has been absolutely transformative. And I'm so excited to share with you guys where I'm at and what is to come and the things that are manifesting right now, because like I said, this city has taught me how to dream bigger and bigger. And my dreams right now honestly scare the shit out of me. And it's beautiful. And it's a lot. And I'm so here for it. And I'm so excited that you are here for it as well, because this is what this manifestation journey is all about. Is like facing these different things and allowing ourselves to receive the beauty, the abundance, the fun, the excitement, the love, the everything that comes out of choosing to be on a journey like this. And this is still just the beginning for me and for New York City. So that is what I have for you. Thank you so fucking much for 50 podcast episodes so far. I feel honored that we're already at this place, and there's so much more goodness to come in the future with the No Bullshit Manifestation Show and with everything that I have to offer to all of you. So thank you for being here. I truly cannot put into words how grateful I am for my community and for all of you who choose to listen and be a part of it. And I'm sending you all of my love. I love you so fucking much. I'll talk to you on the next podcast episode. Oh my gosh. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I'm so grateful to have these no bullshit talks with you. If you enjoyed today's episode or the podcast as a whole, please spread the love by leaving me a review on iTunes or sharing the podcast with others. This is how I will be able to spread more of these good vibes and be able to make more of an impact on the lives of others. And if you're not already part of all of the goodness and communities that I have to offer, check out the show notes. I have links to the different ways that I can support you on your manifestation journey and help you live a life full of more money, fulfillment, and freedom. But that is all for now. So big love and hugs, and I will chat with you soon, babe.